Leadership power energizes your collaborative intelligence impacts. And we're about coming up on the start of this episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. This is Bill Thomas, your host and presenter for today's webinar. And as we're just getting things ready to go here and ready to roll, I just want to check one more thing. Okay, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to launch our presentation. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. This is Bill Thomas, your host and presenter for today's episode. We're going to be talking about leadership power and how it energizes your collaborative intelligence impacts. And let's use the next 14 or so minutes to take a short walk through the sturdy forest of the key principles for processing your collective intelligence. We will work out the processes leaders and their co-collaborators have to follow in their quest for higher levels of collaborative intelligence, and we'll discover winning ways and purposes that collaborative intelligence gurus pursue to give them a collaborative advantage in all their activities. So we better get going. King Solomon has been called the wisest king in all of human history. That was because Solomon knew that the precious value of a group of wise counselors and advisors were worth more than all the gold, diamonds, and other treasures could get any leader through the most challenging of situations. While the Apostle Paul of Tarsus was inspired to tell Christian followers about the strong growth, uplifting inspiration, game-changing ability, and valuable insights any group of people can enjoy when they decide to work together in all that they do, look at how Paul considered Titus, who was his partner and fellow worker. Paul wrote that Titus had a synergizing impact on Paul's work with the Christian believers in Corinth. John Mackey is co-founder and co-CEO of the Whole Foods Markets Company, and he says that as his $10+ billion supermarket company was built upon the model of being collaborative with the growers and farmers, the producers and processors, the suppliers, vendors, contractors, utility companies, communities in which they served, as well as the employees and managers, he directly attributes the outstanding successes of his and other companies to collaborating partnerships that sustain the virtuous cycles of growth, profit, and superior quality. Taking a page from the Wisdom of Teams concept, author James Surowiecki describes the key success factors for creating a highly effective collaborative endeavor. In his book, The Wisdom of Crowds, please observe how most of his 6 guidelines suggest a disciplined structure for a group's construction, operations, interactions, and supervision. However, as James Surowiecki writes in his The Wisdom of Crowds, he suggests that your collaborations include a fair amount of wriggle room to make it easy for the individual voices and thoughts to flow freely, constructively, and independently. A randomly operating crowd that's radically rational, in a word. Because, as author and top leadership educator John Maxwell says, leaders must obey the law of connecting if they hope to successfully improve the performances of their organizations and themselves. To obey that law, You will need to stay connected to the individuals in your group, because the stronger your relationships and connections between those individuals, the more likely your followers will want to help you, will want to help you. As you might notice about these 5 principles that Dr. Mark Malonis writes about in his paper, is a paradigmatic example of a complex cooperative system in nature, which is modeled on swarm models, along with their phase transitions and their collective intelligence. Each principle describes the information processing tasks, skills, and goals that collaborating teams need to remain alive, intelligent, and effective in dealing with the chaotic challenges of their environments. As you strengthen your empathy-intensive, bridge-building, functionally ideal, and elemental qualities of your leadership commitment to your organization, you can employ those attributes in all 4 of these applications of your power, performances, and proficiencies. Using your collaborative, collective, and other types of intelligences means absorbing, processing, and transforming every bit of information effectively, elegantly, and efficiently. The urgent purpose for all your information processing tasks and duties is simply this: you need to focus your heart, mind, and actions on performing all 3 of these important leadership behaviors in everything that you do. Many people confuse their management duties with their leadership responsibilities. Managers need to ensure that people do things the right or correct way. For example, are your people following the process of or routine? Are they measuring the right thing, measuring things the right way? However, are you constantly helping are leaders constantly helping their people to do the right or correct things, which means that leaders have to ask if what is being done is the right thing to be doing in the first place. So many people will tell you that that is the way we always have done it. But does that way of doing it the right or correct thing to do? Will it produce the results or outcomes that we really desire? Will that process or routine help us to grow or become more prosperous? A company's most distinctive capabilities are cross-functional. That means they are functionally strong and strategically focused. Those uniquely conceived, synergetically designed, and purposefully applied capabilities are employed to support or improve most of the organization's products and services. Smart executives use their leadership skills, strengths, and styles to guide those cross-functional groups or teams of human capital assets and integrated collections of technological resources towards the attainment of key objectives. Even though their leadership efforts require a great deal of time, attention, and investment. Consultants from McKinsey and Company report that even the largest companies have only 3 to 6 distinctive capabilities in their capabilities system. Look at the table on the right side of this slide. You'll see that the collaborative leadership domain has the challenges of helping the group by encouraging shared values. Leaders must empower the stakeholders through delegating, educating, coaching, and counseling them too, and many more things. Leaders need to tap into their own insights apply their strengths and sharpen their abilities to help foster and facilitate harmonious partnerships and collaborations between diverse groups and individuals. And finally, leaders will have to become the catalyst who helps those people embrace and produce radical change. Perhaps now you realize that stirring and mixing together your own toolkit of proactive, responsive, and stabilizing leadership behaviors will enable you and your collaborators to energize their commitment to the organizational mission, enhance the meaning of their work, elevate their trust in the mission and the group's dynamics, and empower them to excel in their tasks. So, using your blend of effective leadership behavioral responses can help everyone deal with the various forms of environmental complexities, establish the credibility of your strategic intentions, and generate greater power for handling their daily challenges. Working as a co-collaborator in partnership with your followers, your peers and managerial colleagues, and other stakeholders requires the full spectrum of your collaborative intelligence. So before you begin to master the many communications-related problem-solving or group facilitation skills needed to shape and supervise the emergence of a truly collaborative culture throughout your organizational ecosystem, I recommend that you first study, learn, and practice the principles, purposes, and processes of intelligently collaborating with people that we discussed in today's lesson. You may wish to read that swarm paper by Mark Malonis, read the traits of the counselors, fellow workers, helpers, and partners described in the Christian Bible, and research articles in the Harvard Business Press or on McKinsey's website for additional information. This ends today's lesson. Now, you happen to be looking at a catalog of materials, training, and coaching support, which are featured in my Leadership Power Paradigms Producer Tools program. You can see that this program is designed to dramatically improve your leadership performances and use your leadership strengths to comprehensively empower the achievements of your people. Right now, this program is available to you at my lowest possible price, so I urge you to visit the webpage at www.one-iam.com/LPP-tools, or you can take a look at the URL for that webpage in which you can get more information. It's sitting right there in the middle of the screen. And also, you can, if you're on the webinar, looking at the webinar replay, you can just simply click on the Enroll and Get Started Now button that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. And that will open up a new browser tab or a new browser window for you so that you can still listen to the rest of the webinar, as well as when you're off of the webinar, you can read through and learn more about this program that I'm describing here, and that'll take you right to the page, so you don't have to do any more. And if you like what you read on that page, just go ahead and get going now. Don't forget that I always offer my famous no questions asked, no risk to you, money back guarantee for this program, as I do for all of my programs. So you really have nothing to lose by enrolling now in this awesome educational program. And while you're clicking on that button, and I encourage you to do that right now so that I can then provide you with the other thing that we have for you, which is we have the 2 bonus gifts for you today. And I'm going to throw that up right now. And I'm throwing up the the links to those two bonus gifts. One gift is the 5 Leadership Uplifter Task infographic. It is a one page, one sheet of paper PDF document. So that's easily something that you can download and you can print out and put on your desk or put on a wall near your desk so that you can refer to it as you go through your day as a leader. Those 5 tasks, if you're doing one or more of those 5 tasks in each of your leadership actions or activities, why, you will be doing a great job and you will see it pay off in terms of the elevation of performances, the quality of performances of your people and of yourself as well as a leader. So it's sort of like a little cheat sheet, but it's done in infographic form. And the second gift that we have for you today is a PDF document. It's 8 pages, and it's a paper called the Words of Wisdom paper, which is got it's got a number of the principles and strategies and tips that we covered in today's episode of Leadership Power Paradigms, as well as some of the previous episodes of Leadership Power Paradigms too. So that's a very helpful resource, and I hope you enjoy reading through that as well. And if you are on the webinar replay while I'm on the subject at this point in time, if you're on the webinar replay, I strongly encourage you to use the question box that you see on the right side of the screen and just type in any question or comment about leadership that you might have. I will always respond to those and give you as full an answer as I possibly can. And of course, that's free, so that's a great resource that you might want to take advantage of, as well as the fact that if you'd like to discuss those leadership questions or comments that you might have, then of course you can also include your phone number if you're located in the US or in Canada. That is, if you're located only in the US or Canada, please include your phone number in your question, and that way I can give you a call. Otherwise, if you are located outside of the US or outside of Canada, then I encourage you to include your Skype ID. Skype is a free service. We can make a Skype to Skype call. That way I can even type in some information into the chat area of Skype. And many times I will actually upload a paper or a report or an article that might give you more information about the particular concern that you had about leadership. So that's a great way of getting some more free information from me as well. So, and I enjoy talking to people and conversing with people on Skype just as well as on the phone too. But Skype is a little bit richer. It gives you a little more wealth in the quality of the conversation that we can have. So anyway, that's all of that. I said all of that to say this. I'm looking at the live audience, and they don't seem to have any questions at this point in time. So I'm going to say thank you for joining us in this episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. This is Bill Thomas, your host and presenter for today's episode. God bless each and every one of you. Godspeed to you all. And I wish each and every one of you the very best of success in all of your leadership endeavors. Take care.